I started drinking heavily when the pandemic hit, and I realized that something needed to change. I grew up really rough, domestic, sexual, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and then I had a child really young. I had always been physically active, but I knew that nutrition was a huge factor. And then once I kind of conquered that, I realized that there was a lot of people that were in the same place that I was in that wanted to transform their lives, but they didn't know how. It was more like of an awakening than anything.
There was a big increase. I mean, in the UK, I think it was about 41% of women started drinking so much more to be able to cope with
Mhm.
everything. It seemed like the government and people of power didn't even acknowledge those groups of people.
People have a lot of questions, and I think we live in a society where like people are scared to ask each other and scared to have conversations. Um, and I want everyone to know.
So tell me all about your business and what you do and your story.
Yeah, so I own a small business. It is called Transformation. It's a coaching business. So I am a life coach, I'm a personal trainer, and a nutrition coach. I work currently full time in an all women's gym, which is really, really nice. I love it a lot. And then on the side, I also have my own podcast. My podcast talks about various different topics, entrepreneurship, overcoming trauma, um, really like a wide range of topics, which is like super nice. That airs on Spotify, Google Music, Amazon Music, iHeart, and then I also have a YouTube and where that you can find the visuals.
Oh,
A lot of my
brilliant.
business primarily, yeah, a lot of my business primarily is trying to get people into a good mental mind state so that they are ready to be able to kind of like balance out their lives, work, exercise, and kind of make it a little bit more seamless. You want to think of health and wellness in your everyday life as longevity. You don't want to think of it as a chore. So it's trying to like incorporate that into your crazy busy life that's already super hectic without making it seem like it's a chore or you're just adding another thing to your plate because that's never what we want.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely get that. And people forget how important it is to be in that right state of mind to be able to handle everything that's going on. Because if we're in a better state of mind, we can handle more, can't we? And more effectively.
Hmm. Absolutely. And then I also
Yes.
have a cookbook that is available on my website as a PDF and then on Amazon. And I have another book that's coming out late spring. It'll definitely be out before the summer, and that is Transformation the Plan. That is a exercise boot. It's a like almost like a boot camp style workout that I planned for everyone. So anybody that's ever had like a knee replacement or any type of like knee injury, shoulder injury, um, if you were an amputee, there's a section in there like wheelchair based exercises. So I made sure that it was like targeted for everyone, and I'm really really excited about that. And then I paired every exercise with a recipe.
That's amazing to incorporate everyone. I think that is a brilliant idea. It's not something you see, is it? That's fantastic.
Yeah, I tried really hard. I tried to put a lot of thought into it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds like it. So what's your story to be doing what you do now?
Yeah, so I grew up really rough. So I had like a really traumatic childhood. Domestic, sexual, physical abuse, emotional abuse. And that was really rough. And then I had a child really young. So my son, I got pregnant when I was 18. I gave birth to my son when I was 19. Um, but growing up the way that I did, I was already at a disadvantage. So, because I didn't learn a lot of things, like I didn't graduate from high school. I eventually went back and got my GED and then got a college degree. But at that time, I wasn't where I should have been, like as a 19-year-old. So it was very difficult raising my son. And then his father was very much in and out of the picture, kind of just like when he felt like it. Um, so it was hard doing that by myself. And I did that for a really long time while I was trying to like overcome like depression and anxiety and like all the trauma that I had gone through. And then I started drinking heavily when the pandemic hit. And I realized that something needed to change. Like I had to do something. So I needed to transform my life. And I'd always been physically active. Like I really enjoyed going to the gym. It was part of just like my daily life routine. Um, but I knew that nutrition was a huge factor and that I needed to drink more water and I needed to keep my mind busy and I needed a safe place to go. So, excuse me, that's what kind of started me down like a more fitness and nutrition path. And then once I kind of conquered that and I was completely sober, like I didn't have any issues, I was doing much better. I realized that there was a lot of people that were in the same place that I was in that wanted to transform their lives, but they didn't know how and they didn't know where to start. And that's why I was going to help them.
Oh, that's amazing. I think a lot of people keep forgetting about the pandemic. And I was printing off all the statistics last week, I think it was, about how much people's drinking increased and stockpiling of alcohol and things like that as well. There was a big increase. I mean, in the UK, I think it was about 41% of women started drinking so much more to be able to cope with
Hmm.
everything. So, yeah, a big increase. And from working in addiction, homelessness, all those things, my mind went straight to people in addiction, domestic abuse when the pandemic hit. And it seemed like the government and people of power didn't even acknowledge those groups of people until weeks, months into the pandemic. It's just like they got forgotten about. And I understood it was a pandemic, but people who were already in a domestic abuse situation, that's just going to escalate. The amount of people where because of the pressures of working from home and not being able to go out, that developed within the household. It was huge and it just all got sort of brushed under the carpet.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Completely forgotten about. But I
Yeah.
also think for me, in my particular situation, it was more like of an awakening than anything. And I'm actually thankful for it now. Because my life wasn't headed in the directions that in the direction that it should have been. I wasn't truly like fulfilling my purpose and I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, like, or what my place was in the world. And I had a lot of trauma, like a lot of things happened to me when I was young. And I had been through a lot of stuff that I never addressed. I suppressed everything and just continuously suppressed it. So it's like, it almost gave me like that time to really just like unleash and figure out that's why I act the way I do. Oh, that's what I've been through. That's why I feel like that. Had it not been for that, I would still just be living in a rat race, just kind of like chasing my own tail.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's amazing what can happen in life to make us stop and think this isn't the right direction, and when those things from the past come up and we feel like we need to deal with them now, it's time. So it's good that was a positive thing about the pandemic for yourself and probably for many other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. So how did you come about starting to put together and where did you start? Because there's so much that you do.
Yeah, so I initially I didn't know what to do. So I made a vision board. I was already familiar with like the spiritual world. I'm a very spiritual person, so I understood like being a visionary and manifestation. So that's where I started. And then I started doing more research on just like mindset and like gentle shifts and just like talking to a lot more people. And then I came across Dr. De Silva. Dr. De Silva wrote a book on mindset and was it The Power of the Brain? And he teaches you how to go into like almost like different realms. So you can like kind of like tap into alpha or beta, which will help you to really like come like teaches you how to use your subconscious and your conscious at the same time. So you can address all of those traumas, right? And like you can go through those things, you can have those emotions, but you're still able to function and live your everyday life. He teaches you different tools to utilize because a lot of times people get lost in it. And I feel like that happened to me too, especially when you first start to do shadow work. Now you understand this is why I am the way that I am. Like a lot of terrible things happen to me. You have to go visit that and you have to relive it. And that's a hard thing to do. So, and then to like maintain like your very busy, chaotic life at the same time is super difficult. Um, But with therapy, I started going to therapy. With therapy and different tools that I was being taught, it helped me a lot to be able to just make it through until I came out on the other side, which is where I'm at now. But simple things, vision board. I started doing affirmations every morning, which I feel like really helped me. I started setting my intention. What is my intention for today? And what is it that I want to do? And I started off super slow. So altogether, my transformation took about 3 years. And that was me really just like picking away at different things, teaching myself different things. And then you have to remember that you're learning all these things, but they don't really go into play until you practice them. So you have to allow yourself time to get into the routine of practice. And then once you're there, it becomes a lifestyle. But it takes time. And then you're picking up tips along the way. And yeah.
It is. It's a slow process. It just doesn't, well, it sort of does happen overnight, but not at the start. It's, as you said, it's practice and practice. And I really relate with that, finding out why you've got the behaviors that you do. And then, because I always thought I'm too quiet, I can't do anything. I'm too shy, I'm not going to amount to anything. But then when I realized, found out why I was that way, it allowed me to embrace it and turn them into real positive things. So I can really identify with that. It's like the weight's taken off, I
Hmm.
suppose, that and I was sort of given permission to be me and that it was okay to be me.
Hmm.
So yeah, I really get that. That's yeah, it's a good. I think the awareness, people being aware,
Hmm.
um, that they have their behaviors for a reason, usually survival. We
Right.
develop these behaviors, and that's okay. But being aware of them is one of the most important things, I think.
Agreed.
So, when did you start working at the gym and starting all that?
Yeah. So I've been a personal trainer for about 5 years. I've been working for the gym for 3 years and then working also as a nutrition coach. Um, so roughly it's been about 5 years.
Wow. How do you find it now to how you were before? What shift has it given you?
Um, 100% it's completely different. So everything about my life has just shifted. Like the way that I eat, the way that I think, the things that I do, everything doesn't, I'm not so wrapped up in the fact that everything is a chore anymore. Things aren't chores. Like actually in reality, like this is my life and it's happiness is a mindset.
Because it can be so overwhelming, can't it, at the start? And people, when they get into recovery, sometimes it's just far too overwhelming. Like, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And sometimes it's just too much for people, and they think, I can't do this. It was easier
Hmm.
drinking, you know?
Right.
So I think that's starting off slow. And as you said, building those tools and going along, working on different parts of you. It doesn't all have to be done straight away. And as time goes on, your mindset changes, doesn't it?
It does.
So when did you decide to write a book about all this?
So I haven't completed the book about like my self-discovery and like my life. Um, I'm slowly working on it. It's a real work in progress. I'm estimating it's probably going to take me like a year to finish it. It's something that you really have to pick away at, and I have like a lot of detail. So, but yeah. But the books, so the cookbook I did because I just felt like more people needed to like see different varieties of food, and like healthy food doesn't have to be just like so boring and mundane. It can be fun. So that's one of the reasons why I did it. And then as far as the manual goes, I did that because I wanted people to know that regardless of where you're at, if you are at the very beginner level, if you've never been to the gym before, if you don't know what anything means, because I also have, excuse me, it's almost like a dictionary where it has like a bunch of like gym words or like fitness, fitness things like creatine or protein. What do those things do for the body? And it has it all broken down, the definition of exactly what it is, exactly what it does, so that you feel confident going into the gym. And it's like so beginner friendly that if you've never been to the gym before, this is for you. It starts super beginner friendly and then it goes all the way to advanced because it's also really advanced workouts in there too, right? It's supposed to be for everyone. Um,
Yeah.
and I did that because I realized like my even like with my son who's like starting to be like a gym bro himself, people have a lot of questions. And I think we live in a society where like people are scared to ask each other and scared to have conversations. Um, and I want everyone to know that they can go to the gym.
It's great. And you said you work in a female only gym, is it?
Yeah.
Because that can do a lot for people's confidence as well, I suppose, because doing any new activity or any new social activity can be really frightening, can't it? Let alone some people have the thoughts of like big muscular men at machines or whatever, and so we'll stay away from the machine area, or there are so many different types of gym, as in I don't want to say well, I suppose some stereotypical gyms, but then you have different gyms that are more class focused,
Hmm.
um, or may have a pool, may not have a pool. So there's different options for people, isn't there?
Right. There is.
Yeah. And what about classes and things? Do you do anything like that?
I do some small group fitness, yes. Yep. Kind of just like depends on whatever the clients need, to be honest. Like I'm well versatile in exercise. So like even like gentle aging, I work with some youth. Yeah, so a wide variety.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's great. So I'm trying to think. So the fitness, the books, what about the like coaching side of things?
Hmm. So that really just depends on where the client's at. So when somebody reaches out to me and they say, Sam, I would like for you to help me. I really want to be involved in like the fitness world. I want to get, back to the shape that I was at in my 30s. And I'm struggling wicked bad with my nutrition. I haven't even stepped foot in a gym in 2 years and I've been eating like terrible. The first thing I would do is direct them to coaching, to life coaching. Like we need to figure out one, what happened, two, where you're at currently, three, what can we declutter? We need to declutter and we need to discard because it sounds to me like there's way too much going on, there's way too much chaos, and it could probably be managed a little bit better. Not meaning that the client's doing anything wrong, but overall, sometimes it's nice to just have a second pair of eyes looking from the outside in. Um, so that's where we would start. And that's where like the actual coaching will come in. And then the client will stay. I'll gain them as a training client and then most likely nutrition as well. And then I'll continue to kind of coach them throughout. Um, the actual like life coaching aspect of it is kind of just like a given. So that comes with personal training because as you're training someone, you're getting to know them, you're getting to know their lifestyle, their lives, what it is that they do on a regular basis. And now they're talking to you and they're kind of confiding in you. So I can always talk to people about activity levels outside the home, different things, or like partner relationships. I taught one woman that I have who's married, her how to like exercise with her husband when she gets home, um, how to manage time better, things like that.
Wow. Yeah, there's so much more to it, isn't there? And I think that's great if you can look at your life and see little areas where people can just move more or incorporate. I mean, the shops for me are really, really close. It's like, don't get in the car, it's not that
Yeah.
far to walk. And counting the steps can be something, if you like your goals and beating targets, counting your steps can really help. But if that's too
Right.
much pressure, don't do that. Just take the walk, take a leisurely stroll to the shops. That's going to be better than getting it delivered or going in the car.
Hmm.
So, yeah, there's all so many little bits that we can do to move more. And I know I can be really, really guilty of it. especially doing the podcast. Like I've got four today, and I'm thinking, where do I fit my little routine in? It's only half an hour. I've got time to do it. So instead of just sitting, it's so important that I move and do something in between the podcasts because it can be
Absolutely.
far too easy just to sit at the laptop and think, oh, I'll just send this other email. I'll just check this. I'll just do this. And then before you know it, it's the next podcast is due and you haven't moved. And my watch is going, move, move, move.
Yep, yep.
Brilliant. So do you have any tips or anything of where for people just to begin and
Yeah. So
for
what
their
I would
mind as
say,
well as body? Sorry.
no, that's okay. So I would actually agree with everything that you just said. So it doesn't have to be something that's super strenuous, but literally start with a walk. Like if you haven't been mobile in a long time, like getting up and just walking is totally enough. Really, it's your nutrition that you want to focus on more than anything. You can't outwork a bad diet ever. It's not possible. Um, so you definitely want to keep a close eye on your nutrition, stay away from saturated fats, eat more complex carbs instead of simple carbs. Um, Try to get 10,000 steps a day if you're able to, and then slowly incorporate fitness. And then drink a lot of water, staying hydrated, because staying hydrated will also keep you full.
Yeah, that's the one place I always fail. And I've got like my thing here and I think I'll just fill it up and then I forget. And it's such a simple thing, but I have to remind myself all the time. I'm absolutely terrible. And it doesn't matter how many like habit sheets that I've got to tick off how much water I've drank or things popping up on the laptop or it's something I've really got to get my head around is drinking more water. So yeah, very
But
important one.
it's a universal problem too, so I don't want you to feel like it's just you, but universally everyone could drink more water.
Yeah, I do feel better for that. Thank you.
Good.
So where can people find you and how do they get in touch with you? And like I said, if they haven't done anything for a while and are worried about reaching out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can reach out to me anytime. I usually respond within 24 hours. I can be found on my Instagram at Samantha's M World or on my website at coachingintotransformation.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm on Nextdoor. All just my name, Samantha Mazola. And then Amazon. So if you put Samantha Mazola into Amazon, my book will pop up. And then my second book that is going to include nutrition and fitness is coming out in I want to say late spring, but I'll have more updates as I go and I'll continuously just kind of like promote it. Um, yeah, and then TikTok, same thing, Samantha's M World.
Brilliant. I'll make sure that all your links are put in the description. And as you said, if when the new book comes out or anything, let me know and I can update everything and get it out there on all my social media as well. So it'll be my pleasure. I think that's a great idea. And having things such as what is protein and why we should eat it, that's so important because we're told these things. And I'm one of those people, if you don't tell me why, I'm like, well, everybody says it, you know. Things with like water,
Hmm.
we sort of understand more hydration and but protein, some people will go, well, how much and what is it and why? So I think those things are really, really important. So what a useful book. I think that's brilliant.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, yeah, I bet. And I'm gonna have a look for it after this as well. And as I said, I'll get the link in, but I'm enjoying so much recent researching because I don't research too much before I speak to people because I want to know what they do. And I feel if I
Mhm.
read it, I'll miss those questions of why they do if I already know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I have a good research afterwards, and it's just such a pleasure that like you've brought something different into the world, and I really appreciate that. So I will get it out to everyone.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot.
Oh, no, thank you so much, Samantha. And if you need anything, please get in contact and yeah, I'll see what we can do.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
And you take care.